welcome back to the Hannahcast YouTube channel and another Oscar predictions video, this time for June for Best Picture. My God, we've just had the Cannes Film Festival, which means a lot of things have been cleared up in terms of, what are going to be contenders and what are not going to be contenders. For example, Eddington, that's out. Nouvelle Vague, I know Netflix bought it, but the reviews are just too decent. They're not amazing, and I don't think it's going to be like a big splash, like Elvis or whatever. So I feel like that can be put to rest. Nouvelle Vague's not happening. I tried predicting it to happen, but nope. Also, I will say, well, for one, if you hear my air conditioner, I'm so sorry, but like my room gets really hot during the summer. So keep that in mind. We still have channel memberships open for $2 a month. You can get access to things like loyalty badges, members only emotes that you can use in chat or even the comments. You get member only shout outs at the end of my videos, with the little text thing that scrolls up. That's really nice. You get members only videos, members only live streams, and also early access to my Oscar predictions videos. So for those of you that are seeing this video a little bit early, that's because you are a member of the channel. So consider becoming a member of the channel. It really means a lot. Also, I do want to push this a little bit. I do have merch open. Go to the Hannahcast-shop.fourthwall.com for some Hannahcast apparel, as well as accessories like mugs and buttons and stuff, as well as We'll Have to See merch, as well as an embroidered hat. Oh my God, and also we have some funny, shirts like the movie theater douche repellent, as well as Bayonora shirts. All of it can be available and found on the Hannahcast-shop.fourthwall.com. Again, that is the Hannahcast-shop.fourthwall.com. There's a lot of cool stuff there, so consider buying something from the Hannahcast store. But without any further ado, let's get on with the predictions. I'm still going to put Sinners at number 1 because it makes the most sense for me right now. Now, I know some people are putting Sentimental Value at number 1. And I can see what they're going for, especially since Sentimental Value does have a lot of, above the line potential. And admittedly, on Award Expert, I kind of have it getting 11 nominations, which is a lot for a film like this. I have it in picture, director, actress, 2 supporting actresses, although I don't know if, what's her name? Inga Ib's daughter Lilia's is going to stick around. I don't know if she's actually going to get nominated. But we also have supporting actor, original screenplay, casting, international feature, editing, and score. So, it has quite a lot of prospects, especially if there's a lot of passion within the Academy. And if I'm being honest, I can actually see Sentimental Value winning BAFTA, because I don't think they would go for something like Sinners. And plus, BAFTA is, really bad at predicting Best Picture. But, again, I'm just not sure if Sentimental Value can win some of the other key awards. Is it going to win DGA? Is it going to win PGA? It's not eligible for Writers Guild, I don't think. I mean, it could win, SAG Ensemble, maybe, but I don't know. Sinners just seems like it's still the one to beat in SAG Ensemble. But then again, you could also argue Sentimental Value is going to get more acting nominations than Sinners. So it's kind of tough right now. So, yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. And again, do I think at the end of the day Sinners is going to win Best Picture? Probably not. But I just don't really see a strong enough contender coming out of Cannes. And again, yeah, Sentimental Value does look like it could be a big contender above the line, but it's just those major, guilds. Can it win something major from there? Because again, even the international film that has won Best Picture, Parasite, even that didn't win PGA. So that's where I'm kind of at right now. It's kind of looking like it would only win, SAG Ensemble. And that's very rare for a movie to win Best Picture off of only SAG Ensemble. I mean, I'm pretty sure it has happened, but I can't really think of it right now. Um, and again, I just don't know if this is the kind of film that would win director. Because, sure, yeah, Sean Baker won DGA, and that was for a film that was also not like a big, larger scale kind of film. But at the same time, there was a whole filmmaker narrative behind Sean Baker. I don't really know if there's anything like that for Joachim Trier. So I just don't know. I'm gonna go with Sinners right now because it still is like the big, you know, sensation of the year. The reviews are fantastic. The box office was fantastic. I want to like now that it's coming out on digital, I really want to see how strong it is in terms of the online clips or the TikToks or the music playing on TikTok or whatever, because that's something that was going on with Oppenheimer. I know it's weird to bring that up, but it's like Oppenheimer left a huge cultural footprint that year. Like there was so many TikToks and memes and clips going around, and I want to know if they're going to do that with Sinners. Because if Sinners can do that, then it might end up being unstoppable. But at the same time, its box office wasn't as big as I thought it would be. Like, so far, it's made like 350 million worldwide. And so that's where things get a little bit tough. And again, I don't think it's going to win the BAFTA. So I honestly, this year for Best Picture, it's not going to be a clean race. I don't think it's going to be a very clean race. I think there are going to be some hurdles thrown along the way. We're just not going to have we're not going to have a film that just bulldozes award season. And so that's kind of what's hard to figure out. It's like, what's going to happen here? Now, granted, there were also some rumors of a sequel to Sinners, and I'm like, if they try to do a sequel to Sinners, I think that kind of kills any chance it has at winning Best Picture, or even getting nominated for director. But Ryan Coogler has shot down rumors of any sequels. He's like, nope, I'm not doing a sequel to Sinners. That's not happening. So luckily he was able to shoot that down, because again, if Warner Brothers actually tried to do a sequel to Sinners, that would spell bad news for any chances of Sinners winning Best Picture. And I actually did rewatch it. It's even better the second time. Oh my god! Like this is like, oh god, like that whole one take sequence was so wonderful, and weirdly enough, by the time it gets to the third act with, the vampire action, it's kind of like the Resident Evil film that we never got. It's like right down to, Haley Steinfeld going, "We're gonna kill every last one of you." Like, it just kind of sounds like something like from Resident Evil Biohazard. I don't know why, but it just really felt like Resident Evil to me. And if only Resident Evil movies were as good as this. But yeah, that's where I'm kind of at right now. I do think I could see a path for sentimental value, but the problem is that I don't know what major precursor it would win, especially the guilds, because that's kind of tough. Like, and even Parasite, like at least Bong Joon-ho, is a Writers Guild member, and he was able to win the Writers Guild award. So even though it was hard to see coming, you could at least see Bong Joon-ho's Parasite, at least in the trenches of winning Best Picture. Whereas sentimental value, it's a little bit tougher to figure out. Again, it could win the BAFTA. It might win the BAFTA, actually. But right now, I still have to say Sinners is the one that makes the most sense for me right now. So, yeah. Then we have Jay Kelly. Jay Kelly, we did not get anything about Jay Kelly during Tudum, or Tudum, or whatever it is, the Netflix event, which is strange, because this is like, from what we're hearing about Jay Kelly, or at least what I've been hearing from other people who have heard things, but yeah, Jay Kelly is said to be a very good crowd pleaser. It's like a really, really good crowd pleaser, and that Adam Sandler is the standout. So that's kind of what I'm wondering is gonna if that could be like a sneak contender. But again, I'm not completely sure, because again, when you look at the best picture lineup, so much of it is like original films, and it's like that's kind of the heart. And we'll talk about this later on when we get to like the later half of the list. But there are so many original films I feel like need screenplay to get in, but like they're also but it's just too stacked. So yeah, I think Jake Kelly will be strongly in there, but I want to know if this could win. Bugonia, never really doubt Yorgo Lanthimos when he's doing something more large scale. So I'm going to assume this is going to be a big contender. And also, we finally have the Cannes breakout hit. It was Just an Accident, the film that won the Palme d'Or. Now, I know some people are saying, I don't think Neon can get 2 movies in Best Picture. Sure they can. 3, that's where, yeah, I don't think they can get 3 in, which is why I have The Life of Chuck out, which we'll talk about Life of Chuck here in a bit. But they can do 2, especially now, like now that they've kind of dominated, the Cannes Film Festival for like pretty much half a decade at this point. It's like they can, and also they can Cannes Film Festival. Like between Parasite to It Was Just an Accident, and in the past 5 years of the Cannes Film Festival, the only film of theirs that did not win the Palme d'Or, that did not get nominated for Best Picture, that did win the Palme d'Or, was what was it? Titan. But at the same time, Titan was a weird movie. That was a weird movie that audiences really could not get into that much. But It Was Just an Accident is different. At least from what I've heard from people who have watched the movie, it's like it is way more palatable than something like Titan. It is a film that deals with issues that are going on in that part of the world right now, and like in a way that it can be considered palatable and that the normies can understand. And I feel like that if it's like that, then yeah, it can get into Best Picture. And now we also have Sentimental Value, which sure it didn't win the Palme, but at least from what was being heard about the film, it's like now it doesn't really need the Palme to get nominated for Best Picture. It's sort of like how the Zone of Interest released at Cannes, and it kind of blew everyone away, but yet it didn't win the Palme. It went to Anatomy of a Fall. It's like, yeah, at that point, the Zone of Interest was kind of too big to lose Best Picture, so it didn't need the Palme to win. The same thing is happening with Sentimental Value. It's like, sure, yeah, it didn't win the Palme, but again, when you look at the praise that it's gotten and what kind of movie it is, it's like, this is a film that was obviously going to get nominated for Best Picture, regardless if it won the Palme or not. And It Was Just an Accident. This is the kind of film that probably did need the Palme a little bit to get that bit of exposure. And I do feel like this can actually get nominated for Best Picture. So I'm going to put that in for now. And plus, you can see director happening. And, if it's a Cannes film, or like a Palme d'Or film in Best Picture, or at least in the current Neon era, it's going to get screenplay as well. So, yeah. So yeah, I don't really have any reason to doubt It Was Just an Accident at the moment. Then, we get to the lower half of the list. I'm going to go, yeah, Avatar, Fire and Ash. This is going to be one of those films where I need to be convinced if it's not happening. Like, if it's not happening, we'll see I'll take it down when I see the reviews are not amazing or that people are not as passionate. But at this point, I can't really doubt James Cameron. James Cameron is just, like, again, he's kind of too big to be stopped at the moment. At least or at the very least, too big for me to doubt. The Rivals of Messiah King is interesting because it still has not gotten distribution. But, however, we'll see what happens at the fall festivals. This is something that's definitely gonna, need to be looked at, because like if it can get into the fall festivals and be distributed, and it also depends on who's distributing it. Like, is it going to be Netflix that distributes it? It better not be Neon, because Neon has their hands too full right now, because if Neon buys it, it's kind of dead for Best Picture. So yeah, I'm not really but yeah, the prospects are still all there for this to get a Best Picture nomination. Again, the reviews are still fantastic. It has a very interesting premise. You do have some text that can go along with it, considering it's like a musical of sorts. And you also have Matthew McConaughey and Angelina Looking Glass. So, like, I do believe again, as long as it gets distribution during the fall fests, this is like, I think it can get into Best Picture. Then we get to Deliver Me From Nowhere. This is one I have been kind of struggling with, because I really want to put in Ella McKay. I really want to put in Ella McKay for Best Picture, because 20th Century has moved the release date to December from an earlier date, and I think that does scream confidence. I think they have confidence that Ella McKay can be a Best Picture film. But at the same time, if I put that in, like I did last time I did the Best Picture films, you notice that I had 3 20th Century Studios films in there. No, I can't do that. I can't do 3 20th Century Studios films. What was I thinking? So I'm going to go with Deliver Me From Nowhere, but again, it is kind of interesting because the director hasn't really been making Best Picture films that much. I mean, he did direct Crazy Heart, but that didn't even squeeze into Best Picture 10. So I don't know. But at the same time, the nomination haul is a bit pretty strong, because you got Jeremy Allen White as Bruce Springsteen. You could have a sound nominee. I mean, especially the sound design, like the sound editing and mixing team is like full of like Oscar nominees. So it's like, I don't know. And plus, it's one of the only adapted contenders I have in Best Picture, or just really in the upper outskirts of Best Picture. So that makes it kind of tough. And so that's kind of another problem. It's like, if I take out Deliver Me From Nowhere and put in Ella McKay, well then how am I gonna fit Ella McKay into original screenplay? Because that category is super, super stacked. And I don't think I can take anything out of it right now. So, And then we have Is This Thing On, which is Searchlight, which makes things a little bit easier. But I guess right now I kind of have it in because it is directed by Bradley Cooper, and he hasn't really missed. I mean, sure, Maestro didn't win a single Oscar, but it still got nominated for a ton of Oscars. And plus, even then, this seems like a little bit more smaller, simpler. I feel like with Is This Thing On, it's going to get like screenplay and maybe a couple of acting nominations. So its nomination ceiling is not huge, and especially considering, one of those categories is screenplay, which I feel like is essential if it needs to be in Best Picture. Like, if it wants to be in Best Picture, it needs to get original screenplay. But again, original screenplay is super, super tight right now, so I don't really know what to do. So, yeah. And I'll switch back to One Battle After Another at number 10, fine. Because again, like, I'm finding less and less places to put it. But again, I don't even have a large sample size for this, because I only have this in for picture and adapted screenplay, which isn't really strong considering this movie has could potentially have contenders in sound or editing. But that's just kind of like how things are. It's like, I just don't know what to do here. And I'm looking at a lot of these other films, and there's arguments against so many of them. There's The Ballad of a Small Player, but again, I need to see a trailer. It is directed by Edward Berger, and he did do All Quiet on the Western Front and Conclave. But the story of this film doesn't really seem like an Oscar thing, of the whole thing about, gambling and drug addiction. I don't know. The Life of Chuck, at one point I was considering maybe it could win Best Picture, but now that what was it? Neon has bought, it was just an accident. Yeah, that makes things really complicated, because we have 2 films I feel like are pretty much now guaranteed to get Best Picture nominations. Sentimental Value, which is just going to be the overall contender. Like, I feel like Sentimental Value is going to be more like, Parasite or Roma or Emilia Perez, where even though it's international, it is strong enough to show up everywhere, or basically everywhere. Whereas, something like It Was Just an Accident is going to be more like Drive My Car or All Quiet on the Western Front, where that kind of like only pops up at the last second. But yeah, but regardless, I do have like I can't go against the Palm winner, at least not in this current era. So with Life of Chuck, it's like, well, I can't have three neon films in Best Picture. If it starts to look that way during award season, like people do start throwing in more neon films, I'm like, oh, okay. But right now, it's like, no. Even though there's a lot of nomination potential for this film, you could nominate it for picture, director, supporting actor, adapted screenplay, which I do still have it in adapted screenplay because the category is just so weak right now. You could put it in for film editing. You could put it in for score. So there's a lot of things you can do with the Life of Chuck. But again, considering Neon's priorities right now, like they have sentimental value and it was just an accident, I don't feel like their priorities are going to be there for Life of Chuck. But again, that kind of depends. Like, is it going to make a shit ton of money at the box office? If it makes a lot of money at the box office, I might have to reconsider things because, I don't know what to do at that point. But yeah. Oh, wait, I forgot. I need to have this. I forgot to change the thing. Oopsies. But yeah. And Ella McKay, again, I kind of explained Ella McKay. It does kind of make sense. But, because, you could see it getting screenplay and SAG ensemble, maybe lead actress and supporting actress, but again, original screenplay is too packed. And for a film like this, I feel like screenplay is essential, because it's not like, because a lot of these films, like Ella McKay, or Is This Thing On, or Jay Kelly. It's like, these are the kind of films that are not really going to do that well in like tech categories. So you kind of do need them to perform well with screenplay. They need screenplay in order to get Best Picture. And the same thing could be said about Rental Family, which could be a big TIFF hit. But again, it's original. That's the problem. It's just there's just too many films in original right now. Even though this is from Searchlight, and that does, so again, that does make sense, but I just can't right now, man. I just can't. There's just too many original films. And then we have The Secret Agent, which was, again, another pretty big Cannes hit, and it does have some very, very good reviews. And so I will keep this in mind. I mean, never underestimate the Brazilian army. Like the Brazilian fans of their movies, they will go to bat for the things that they like. So there is that. But again, I don't know if it's going to be like as strong as something like I'm Still Here. Because I'm Still Here, I mean, well, for one, that actually won Fernanda Torres a Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Drama, so there's that. Whereas Secret Agent, I don't know if there's going to be anything like that happening with the precursors. But again, I do want to keep that in mind just in case. So, yeah. Then we have The Sound of Falling. Again, very strong reviews from the Cannes Film Festival. You could see this getting director and perhaps cinematography. There's not a lot of nominations you can give this film because I don't know if any of the actors really stand out. And granted, this probably would get screenplay as well, because if you're an international film getting a Best Picture, unless you're like a very last minute notice, like I'm Still Here, you usually get into screenplay. So I do want to keep that in mind. But again, the fact, if this was an adapted screenplay, that would make things so much easier. But it's not. It's an original, which makes it's way more competitive. So I don't know if I can do that right now. After the Hunt, again, the competition is really stiffening up, and I don't really want to bet on a Luca Guadagnino movie when he has not had a film nominated for any Oscars since Call Me By Your Name. So, yeah. And then we get to the Safdie films, The Smashing Machine. I don't know. I do feel like it's not going to be as weird as people say it is. Because, like, the trailer looked very normal to me. And again, I've been saying this before. I'm kind of wondering if if people are thinking it's weird because it's UFC and it's not like a traditional like boxing film, because boxing and UFC fights are way different. But I don't know. Then we get Marty Supreme. Again, I just don't know. Yes, A24 is spending a shit ton of money on this movie. That's exactly what I'm worried about. I've been saying this from day one. I have concerns. I have concerns because this sounds like it's going to be overcompensating for something. And plus, again, the Safdies have not really had films that were that Oscar friendly before. Like Uncut Gems, sure, it was a critical hit, but audiences did not really care for Uncut Gems all that much. So I don't really want to bet on the Safdies right now. Then we have the Catherine Bigelow film from Netflix. Again, I don't know. I need to see a trailer. It's probably just going to be more of like, a political action thriller and not really a best picture thing. But hey, I'm willing to believe otherwise. But again, we didn't really see anything about this at Tudum, which is very weird. I mean, yeah, I know they're going for like the more big tentpole projects, but it's like you could have done something with some of your more prestige films. So yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. Then we get to Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. We did get the first teaser for this, and it does look really cool. The cinematography looks a lot more showy than previous films in this franchise, and so I am very curious about Wake Up Dead Man. I don't think it's gonna happen in Best Picture. The previous two didn't, but again, you could maybe make the argument that Glass Onion was closer to Best Picture than Knives Out, because with Knives Out, I mean, it only had like Golden Globe Comedy Musical and PGA, whereas Glass Onion also hit big at the Critics' Choice Awards, and there was a higher nomination package you could have given it. And plus, like, people were actually trying to nominate, Janelle Monáe. So, again, I don't know. Like, again, we'll have to see how everything goes, but maybe this is a chance. Maybe this is an example of, the films just kind of steadily get closer and closer, and then maybe the third one's the best of the bunch, and it actually does get a Best Picture nomination. Again, I'm not sure about that. We'll have to see how that goes. Frankenstein. We did get a trailer for Frankenstein, and I'm still not convinced it's happening. I am not going to predict a remake of a monster movie in Best Picture. And I've heard some of the weirdest arguments for why it would. Like saying that, genre films can get in it. It's like, yeah, but horror is one of the ones that is like really hard to get in. And yes, I know the original Frankenstein did not lean too much into horror like how we traditionally know horror is today. But you look at the trailer and it's like, yeah, you can see some of the spooks going on, especially around the end where like the monster is like fighting all the dudes. It's like, ugh. And again, I've heard really, really weird arguments for, again, like just the strangest ones. Like, well, Guillermo del Toro did The Shape of Water, and that was like a monster movie. It's like, yeah, but it's not a monster movie remake. That was an original film, and even then, it's not necessarily a horror movie. It was sort of like a fantasy romance kind of thing. Again, I'm not saying Frankenstein's not gonna be great. I think it's gonna be fantastic, but however, I'm just not gonna bet on a Frankenstein movie in Best Picture, especially where we kind of already have a horror movie getting into Best Picture this year with Sinners, which is an original vision, and also The Substance, last year. That was an original vision. And then, Get Out. That was also an original vision. It's like, remakes of monster movies don't get nominated for Best Picture. They just don't. It's like, it has the horror genre bias going against it, the remake bias going against it, considering how big of a well-known figure Frankenstein is. I'm just not doing it. No, it's going to be great, but I just don't think it's going to be a big thing. And look, it might even get like PGA or Writers Guild. I mean, Writers Guild, at this point, I'd be kind of shocked if it didn't get in because of how weak adapted screenplay is. And you take that and you make it even more weak by putting against Writers Guild, where if you're not in the Writers Guild of America, you're ineligible. So it's like Frankenstein's gonna get Writers Guild and probably PGA. But again, it's just too much of a commercial film, or I should say, a commercial horror film that's based off of pre-existing IP. I can't do it. I cannot do it. Wicked for Good, I've already said why I don't really think Wicked is happening in Best Picture. Because again, I've heard that the second act of Wicked is not that great, and I'm sorry, I don't believe adding in 2 new songs is gonna fix all the problems. It's just not. Like, they added songs in, Cats, Dear Evan Hansen. That didn't fix those movies. No, if it's a messy film, it's just gonna end up being a messy film. So yeah, Hamnet. I don't know. I'm still needing to see if Chloe Zhao is like truly a force to be reckoned with. I just don't know. I mean, yeah, she won for Nomadland, but like the sophomore film is usually like, and even though technically her sophomore film was Eternals, and that did not really get very good reviews, and that was at a time where Marvel was letting the filmmakers do what they want. So I just don't know. Or like I'm holding out for like, or at least I'm gonna wait to see when it comes to Hamnet. No Other Choice. It didn't premiere at Cannes, which is weird, but I'm wondering if it's going to end up premiering in the fall festivals. But again, hearing the plot, it sounds. I don't know if it sounds that Oscar friendly, so I don't know. Again, we'll see. And then getting to the final 5 in the list, we have Ann Lee. Again, it's directed by Mona Fastvold, who wrote and produced The Brutalist, along with Brady Corbet, who is also co-writing this film. But however, again, it's like these two have not really made an Oscar film up until The Brutalist. So I need to. The jury's out on that. I need to see what happens. Kiss of the Spider Woman. I'm still weirdly thinking maybe this could be a thing if it performs well at the fall festivals. Because again, it never sounded right to me that this was a Sundance movie. I don't know why in the world they would ever premiere Kiss of the Spider Woman at Sundance. It just, no. Then we have, Anemone. Like, Daniel Day-Lewis, I think, is probably going to get nominated for lead actor. So if that's the case, I do want to at least consider Anemone. I need to see a trailer. I need to see a trailer to see what kind of movie this is supposed to be. This is the Nia DaCosta film. It's based on a play, but again, I don't know. The jury's out on that. I need to see what happens. And obviously, a Minecraft movie will be nominated for Best Picture. I mean, Chicken Jockey. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that wins screenplay Oscars. I tell you what. And yeah, guys, those are my Best Picture predictions for the month of June. Next week will be the director and screenplay categories. And now I'm going to pass the question off to you. What are your Best Picture predictions for the month of June? Let me know in the comments below what you think. And be sure you hit that subscribe button, because if you don't, you're going to be turned into lava chicken.